Hi everyone, I'm Laura Gadenik. I'm an astrologer and a therapist, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about Uranus's entrance into Gemini, which happens on July 7th, 2025. This is a really big shift because we have had Uranus in Taurus for the last 7 years, since May of 2018. And so, with Uranus entering into Gemini, it's a whole new cycle. Uranus will be in Gemini for about 7 years. More specifically speaking, Uranus will be in Gemini from July 7th through November 7th, and then it's going to dip back into Taurus for a couple months, and then it'll be officially in Gemini from April 25th, 2026 through May 22nd of 2033. So really big shifts coming up, and I usually I like to conceptualize when outer planets dip into a sign for a couple months, and then they dip back into the sign they were in previously, and then they officially move into the next sign. That first couple months when the outer planet is in the new sign, it's kind of like a preview of the things, the topics, the themes that you will be navigating over the course of that planet's stay in that sign. So pay attention between the dates of July 7th through November 7th in particular as to what comes up for you. So as I mentioned, Uranus has been in Taurus for the last 7 years. Taurus is an earth sign. Uranus is a planet that brings about major changes, innovations, revolution. It can feel sometimes a little chaotic at times. And so, we really think about what Uranus has done in Taurus. It might have revolutionized the way you think about or conceptualize money, maybe how you spend money, potentially how you relate with food, or what you buy to put in your fridge. Uranus and Taurus might have revolutionized the way you conceptualize stability, or maybe your sense of stability and security. Potentially how you relate to the earth, or to pleasure, or to your senses. These are Venusian things, and that's because Taurus is a Venus-ruled sign. So Uranus in Taurus has created changes and revolutionized and made innovations to Taurus things as well as kind of Venusian things. And so with Uranus moving now into Gemini, this is like a total shift. That Gemini is an air sign. Gemini is a mutable sign. It's a Mercury ruled sign. So we're moving from Uranus having been in a fixed earth sign ruled by Venus into Uranus entering into Gemini, a mutable air sign ruled by Mercury. So we have to apply those Uranian qualities to Gemini, right? So with Uranus and Gemini, we might have things like communications revolutionized or changed or updated. This might be with regards to how you think, how you speak, how you disperse information or gather information, maybe even how you run a business. Mercury definitely rules over business matters. It could even revolutionize or create changes to the way you get from place to place in your local city or your town. Mercury does represent local travel within like your neighborhood. So yeah, with Uranus moving into Gemini, a lot is being revolutionized with regards to the way we think and communicate and extract or disperse information, including how we learn. And this is going to be most significant for mutable sign people. So if you have your sun or your moon or your rising in mutable signs, this is going to be extremely important for you, and you'll notice it a lot more. So now I'm going to just go through the mutable rising signs to kind of tell you what you can expect. So first of all, Gemini rising. Uranus is moving into your first house. This is the house of the body, the self, how others perceive you, like your personality. And so this could be quite literal in terms of maybe you'll be going through major changes physically. You might change the way you relate with your body. Maybe you start a new diet or some sort of health regimen or workout routine, and you literally see changes to your physical body or to the way that you relate to your body. And it could even be with regards to the way you relate to your like sense of self and how you're putting yourself out in the world. So you've just had Uranus and Taurus in your 12th house for the last 7 years, which is a very private part of the chart and kind of more hidden area of the chart. So, I imagine the last 7 years that you might have been going through some more internal, behind the scene changes or restructuring potentially. And so maybe with Uranus entering your first house, it's like you're ready to come out and be seen for who you are. You're ready to show up and be more authentic and like let others see who you are, who you feel yourself to be. So that's something to also look out for. And in general, yeah, it might shift the way people see you, and it might also, you might be shifting in the way that you present yourself to others and to the world. So yeah, really big shifts for Gemini rising people. Gemini rising is also, it's a Mercury ruled sign. Geminis are typically already pretty experimental and like to change things, and it's a mutable sign. So mutable signs like changing, like changes, like shifting, like doing different things, not staying in one place. And so with Uranus here, it might not be too much of a change of energy. This might, like, Uranus is a bit more comfortable, I would say, in the sign of Gemini than in Taurus, because Taurus is all about groundedness, stability, maintaining, and Uranus is like disruption and chaos and doing things differently, and that's like really uncomfortable for Taurus. But for Gemini's like, yeah, I like that. Like that's like what I'm all about. So this might not be that uncomfortable for Gemini risings, and could kind of actually facilitate changes that Gemini risings want to make anyway. On the other hand, because Geminis are so adaptable and changeable and like to shift and change regularly, Uranus going to Gemini might even do the opposite effect, where it's like maybe you as a Gemini rising are used to like changing things all the time and like being a little bit chaotic yourself, and Uranus comes in as like, okay, we're actually gonna stabilize, we're gonna do something different, we're gonna maintain something. So it could be that as well. Okay, moving on to Virgo rising. We have Uranus entering your career house. This is your 10th house of career, public offering, your vocation. Even if you don't have a job, this could be like, what are you here to offer the world, offer your community? And so with Uranus here, it might be time to incorporate some innovations at work, some changes, maybe with what you're doing out in the world, with what you're doing in the office. It could be like structural changes to, your schedule, maybe structural changes to like the office space itself or to your team or whatever it is, whatever sort of environment you work in. It could also be that you're discovering a new direction that feels more authentic and like it fits more who you are, or maybe a new direction that feels like more flexible, more it provides those changes that you need to get things done in other areas of life. Maybe you like move to part-time versus full-time or something like that. Maybe you start a new business, right? Uranus coming into the career house can just bring changes, and it's really, you don't really know what the changes are going to be. I mean, that's very Uranian. You just don't know. I mean, you don't really know with any planetary shift either. But so Virgo risings, expect the changes and innovations and revolution to happen with regards to your career, your work in the world, your vocation, your life's calling. Sagittarius rising. So this is happening, Uranus is entering into Gemini in your 7th house of relationships and partnerships. So it could be that it's time to make changes with regards to your relationships or your partnerships. Maybe the relationship needs a little bit more freedom if you are in a partnership. Maybe you're discovering that you want to find new ways to relate to your partner, or new ways to be together. It could involve some exploring in some way. Could also be, the 7th house might also just represent your partner if you are partnered. So it could also be that your partner might be going through some significant changes. And if you are single, you're not partnered, then think about this as like, you date a lot of people. Uranus can be very quick, and people might come and go. You might get a lot of experience in terms of like what you're attracted to, what you're not attracted to, what you want, what you don't want, or in general, just how you relate to people in a one-on-one sort of relationship. You might notice you're really drawn to Uranian folks, people who think outside the box, who are maybe very different, radical in some way, people who might force you to change or to shift. You might just be drawn to a little bit more of that revolutionary, radical type, and that's going to be different for each person. And then Pisces rising. So we have Uranus entering Gemini in the home sector of the chart, the 4th house. The 4th house rules home, parents, family, land. So we apply those Uranian qualities to that area of life. So you might be making literal structural changes to your home, restructuring your home, or doing renovations of some sort. It could also be relational changes. Perhaps you are discovering new ways to relate with your family, or there are shifts happening within your family that don't really have much to do with you personally, and it could be shifts that people in your family are going through. If you own any property or land, there might be some unexpected changes that come about over the next 7 years, or you might be kind of invited or asked or forced. I mean, sometimes planets come about and it's like, we don't get a choice, right? So with Uranus coming into your 4th house, it might be like, okay, we have to adjust, we have to shift and make a change here with regards to our home, where we live, homes that you own, etc. So yeah, that is a little bit about Uranus entering the sign of Gemini and how you might expect it to impact you if you are a mutable rising sign. And I hope this was useful. Please reach out if you're interested in how Uranus entering Gemini might impact you, because it is very specific to each chart, and there are, of course, all the other rising signs. So hope this was useful, and please reach out if you're interested in a consultation. Otherwise, I'll be back soon with another astrological update, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care.